and you give a certain margin to President Mahama and to Dr. Bawumia, they were referring to you as a Lutu forecaster. But recently you have polled and said that should elections be held within the NPP today, Bawumia would win. Those who tagged you as a Lutu forecaster, I don't know what they are now saying about you. And I like your spirit, and I want a lot of Ghanaians to emulate some of these things. That you see, let us be Ghanaians, and let us be courageous, and let us appreciate that in our quest to speak our mind and to do what is right, you have people coming at you to say all manner of nasty things, but like me, I mean, I don't care about what people say. I care about my own thoughts and what I want to put across. And so I commend you and I urge you to be resilient and go ahead to do whatever you think you want to do to help Mother Ghana. Once you are driven by data and you have empirical basis for making those projections, let people call you names. But those discerning among the good people of Ghana, they would laud you and applaud you. Now, the NPP in my mind, okay, I would want to, I don't know whether they will listen. It appears that they still are not appreciating the enormity of task they have to sit back and just reorganize. They are not doing that. They are still dazed. And so they are doing things haphazardly. I mean, like he said, this is not an election that truly you want to stress yourself so much. Especially, you know, initially my view was that, oh, then the issue should just let it go.
Yes.
But later, I have changed my mind because all the party says we would fight for everything. I said, okay, but they should sit down and rather than trying to throw mud about the government, appreciate what the government is doing and see how they can reorganize to have a certain message that prepares them to make them, to clean all the debts around them and position them for future elections. What they are doing is behaving like ostriches. They are not, when things are going the right way, so things are not going the right way. And as if we all don't experience, we don't go to the market, we don't appreciate what is going on. We all see. So if things are being done right, and Ghanaians can feel, and then you alone, you say, well, things are not being done right, and then you give your own negative verdict, you continue to showcase yourself to the people that you have not repented, and you have not done a roundabout U-turn, you know, about your own attitude that you projected in the lead up to the elections that delivered that heavy blow to you. And so I would urge that, look, they should really sit down and reflect and change so many of the things that they did wrong. I mean, I saw the funeral that they attended. They brought President Akufo-Addo to lead them. When we were mourning, President Akufo-Addo, I think he couldn't join. I'm sure he was not in town during the tragic. Was he there?
I don't know that, but
was he there?
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't. Okay,
Yeah.
But maybe.
So
okay,
then he had to come.
Okay, so let's say that he was not there, but this one he was there. He led people to the funeral
yes,
of this departed MP, and I thought that, you see, the party still has not come to grasp with some of the monumental factors that led to their monumental defeat in the 2024 elections. If they don't know, I am still telling them that President Akufo-Addo was one key factor who led to their defeat. And so in going to that funeral, asking him to lead that delegation, for me, it's a way of telling Ghanaians that we still have not even learned. He is a retired president. Right. Let him retire. Let him rest. Let him take it easy. Try to look for a candidate who will be able to take over from him. And then don't bring the quote and unquote politically bad omen that people voted against President Akufo-Addo and not President and not Vice President Bawumia in the 2024 elections. And so I'm expecting the party to do all they can to dissociate themselves a little from them and allow, rebuild themselves, and then let him be the elderly statesman to help behind the scenes, but to let him lead frontally, it will hurt them. Then let me say, I commend the people of Akwatia. The factors that have been articulated as being the key issues that are likely to dominate or to shape their preference, for me, points to them as now rational voters. You know, there are four main, Andrew Haywood identified four main models of voting. We have the rational choice model, you have the sociological model, you have the ideological model, and then you have the party identification model. Now, so you look at the various factors that have been articulated, and then they are talking about the need for development, they're talking about the economy, they're talking about education, they're talking about jobs, they're talking about illegal mining. Now, these are rational issues that, if they are made to shape voter attitude or voter choice, then you say that, look, Ghana is making giant strides. They have downplayed sympathy, they have downplayed party identification. Okay, gone were the days where a political party can fail just anybody, and because it's that political party, the person would win. But if I look at the factors here, I see that they have downplayed party identification, they have downplayed sympathy. And so the idea that, oh, maybe we should have gone to look for the wife of the deceased to come and contest, I think it's an idea, it's something that used to happen. But I think we should depart from that. Because I agree with him, we should no, well, they would have still lost, but it's not something that I even want to encourage, because you're infielding a candidate, we should be rational. I mean, even if the person doesn't, the spouse hasn't got what it takes to serve his people, you simply want to say that because he's a spouse, he should be brought on. And one day I argued that if you don't take care the way we're going, that tangent on which we're proceeding, you don't take care very soon. If wives have problems with their husband, you just poison them, and then knowing that you'll be made the next parliamentary candidate. And so I think that to the extent that the factors show that the voters are being very rational, I want to salute and commend them. And also want to make the point, as Kofi made, that look, if NPP wins the seat, it would not do anything much to their numbers. If NDC wins, NPP's predicament in Parliament will remain the same. And so rather than focusing so much on this election, let them focus on how they will rebuild themselves. The current executives leading the party, they are part of the problem. And unfortunately, they are being allowed to shepherd whatever rebuilding process that they have in a manner that perpetuates their own interests. And I'm telling them that unless the NPP undertake a very drastic rebuilding process, it would be difficult for them. Their chances in future elections will still remain bleak. And so it is important that they are made to know some of these things. I'm a Democrat. I believe in multipartyism. And so you need a credible opposition that is well prepared, not an opposition that suffers threats of disintegration. Look at the letter that they wrote forgiving those who have left the party. And I said, are they serious? They left on their own volition, and then you had to write a letter to say, okay, if you have done X, Y, Z, then we are sacking you. And if you want to bring them on board, look at the way they wrote it. I've heard some of them telling them that we even left when you were in power, not when, now that you are in opposition, what do we need you for? And so it is important that the elderly in the party are brought on the fore to ensure that there is a genuine reorganization, genuine reconciliation. President Kufuor, who first initiated Ghana's Truth and Reconciliation Commission, okay, to heal us. I think he must be allowed to play. Recently, I heard that there are some decisions that were taken in the party and he was never consulted. And I think he must be brought to the fore to help the party to rebuild itself so that we can have a credible opposition. Otherwise, they think they are doing something. They are risking disintegration because remember that recently that they went to pick their nomination forms, I've heard one of the leading contenders saying that the very things that they did to skew the processes in favor of one of the aspirants, they are doing that. If these things are festering now, you should note that once they also know that they have the following, if it doesn't go their way, if they don't see the processes as level and fair, they would also want to break up. And that is what I mean by the party risking disintegration if they don't do things well.